You're watching the TC MMA podcast.
In the next one, it's Georgia versus Brazil. And I'm not talking about Atlanta, Georgia, right? I'm talking about Georgia, the country. You got Mikheil Sazhiniani, if I said that right. He's 13-2, taking on Bruno Lopes, who's 12-1. I think the winner of this fight is almost guaranteed to get into UFC because they got a lot of experience coming in. We're not talking like the previous fight with 8 or 7 fights. We're talking 14, 13 fights into this thing. So keep that in mind. So let's get into it. In the light heavyweight division at Dana White's Contender Series, the first fight of week 1. Contender Series is back. You got Sazhiniani coming in at 13-2, taking on Bruno Lopes, who comes in at 12-1. This is Georgia versus Brazil. And I'm not talking Georgia, USA. I'm talking Georgia, right? Bruno Lopes, 2 inches taller at 6'2". We have a little more information on him, like he's 31. He's got a 75-inch reach, fights right-handed, 5.3 significant strikes per minute in his lone fight with stats, probably in the Contender Series. Now, the Georgian, Sazhiniani, 13 wins, 12 by KO, 1 by decision. He's lost twice by KO and submission, but that last loss came in March of 2022. So that's the big question. The takedown game. We know the guy can land KOs. Bruno Lopes, in his 12 wins, he's got 5 KO, 5 submissions, 5 decisions. He did lose once by KO, okay? So for Sazhiniani, can he defend takedowns and get the KO? For Lopes, can he avoid the KO and land takedowns? This is just what's going to happen. Now, Lopes did lose to Brenton Ribeiro, who we know is a pretty good fighter, right? By first round KO. So again, he's got to avoid that KO ability, but Ribeiro had really good takedown defense. That's going to be the big question. But they're not bringing in the Georgian here because he's not good and can't defend takedowns. All those guys, yeah, are trying to KO each other, but there's a lot of control and takedowns attempted in that part of the world. So I'm leaning on Sazhiniani to get the win here. That's just how I believe it's going to go. He's just better and bigger. He's going to win and move to 14-2, light heavyweight division. Dana White's Contender Series. Yeah, and that's one of them rare times I go against a Brazilian. I mean, usually if I'm not sure, especially in the Contender Series when I'm not sure, I'm almost always going with a Brazilian. There's so many Brazilians in the UFC, you got to believe that the guy from Brazil is getting into the UFC, right? But I'm going with Sazhiniani here, the dog. It's close, though. I mean, Lopes is like a 2-1 favorite, but Sazhiniani, these Georgians are tough, man. These guys from that part of the world, Dagestani, Russian, all that, these guys are always better than you think.
He's gon' fight, wait, he's gon' fight, wait, hold your breath till the end of the night. Last fighter call, UFC at its height, yeah. Bringing that thunder with all his might, saying step up, wanna fight, hold up, think twice, gladiator, assassin, reckless, no abandon, walk through that cage, he'll leave your ass stranded.